Hey everyone, I hope you all are doing great. Well, what if we can build a project where we have an AI that actually reads our, finance? What if we can do that? Well, not just having like a normal pie chart, but not just even not like a proper, like just totaling it and giving it to us. No, I'm not talking about like that. I'm talking about actual human conversation type, where it tells us this is what is your entire expense, here's where you spent, here's where you could have saved. If you had followed my suggestion like this, I think you could have saved a better. This is the financial plan. If you follow this, it will work particularly like the proper way you're thinking. So this is what I'm talking about. Well, that is why we are bringing up this video in this particular series of build series with Claude. Well, why particularly Claude, if you're asking me? Is it because it is in the trend right now and it's just going so well? No, that's definitely a part of it. But there is even more better reason why we are taking Claude AI just for this particular series. Well, if you think about the nuances or the analyzation or style or the technique, or even if you to talk about the way how it has the proper algorithm built, especially for projects like this, and the way it has those narration, that is why Claude AI actually stands out from all the other AI tools you can think of. And that is why we are having this particular project coming under this build series with Claude AI. Well, is this just going to be a normal way video where we try to just copy paste the code? Definitely not. So let me talk about the series a bit and then we dive deep into the project. Well, in this particular series that we are going to have, so we take one project at a time, we build it from the scratch, entirely from the scratch in three different video formats where we understand what are we doing in the particular project or what are we doing in that particular video where we are building that ultimate project that we need. And at the end of the video, the end of the project that we have, you will have a project that you can customize it the way you want. You can understand how we have built it and not just, like normal copy pasting of the code or just dragging and dropping it down somewhere. It's like proper understanding of what you're building. And that is why this series is very important, or that is why the series is there. Now, coming back to the video, let's understand what we are building today and what is this entire project about. Well, this project is about not just building a normal, a file where it has lines of code. It is about building a proper application, like a proper GUI, like a UI interface, where you're able to add your expenses, your information that where you have exactly spent this expense, and it will be able to understand it in much better manner. And in this particular project, we have three different types. The first one, where you actually type out your expense. And the second one we are going to have where if you have like an, Excel file or the CSV file, you can just drop it to this, particular application that we built, and it will take it all those information, it will collect all the information, it will filter all the information and add it into the expense table. Yes, we also going to have an expense table. Then the last one, the third part, is going to be the most important as well as the most interesting part, and that is going to be just by one button, you'll be able to get the proper analyzation or proper report. And then additional feature that we can add into this particular project is having the voice mode. In the sense, you can get a proper, speak out loud wala feature, where you can actually make the entire AI using the voice engine, you can make it speak the entire report. Apart from this, we are also going to have like a proper financial dashboard where we can understand where our finance is going, where in which side, like a proper charts, line charts, pie charts, a proper financial dashboard, a proper expense table. And we also give the user, like, we can make the person switch from light mode to dark mode. So this is the entire project that we are actually building upon. Now, if you had to ask me, what is the architecture going to be? Well, the architecture of the project is like this. So the first file we are going to have is called as the expense manager, or we can call it as the expense manager.py. Now, what is this file? This file handles everything around how expenses are collected, stored and processed. This doesn't know anything about Claude, by the way. It doesn't even know about the UI, but it is a proper data layer which is basically collecting your data or information and filtering it out. Now comes the second file, which is basically the finance narrator, or we can call it as the finance narrator.py. Now this is where Claude lives. This takes the expense from the first file, builds up properly and understands it, and carefully engineers the prompt. and then calls the Claude API. And once that is done, it returns the full narrative report back. Now, one thing is missing, right? Yes, that is the user interface. Well, the third file, that is going to be the app, or the app.py, which we can call it as. This is the place where we actually build the GUI. With the help of something called as custom tinkler, it connects both the files, giving the user, or giving us the opportunity to not just have the, way how we can see the interface in total, but also having the opportunity to have our expense table, dashboard, charts, report table with voice feature, and many things that we can think about. Now, this was the complete architecture of the entire project. Now, without wasting more time, let's get started. All right, guys. So right now we will be right now we are in the Visual Studio, and we will be doing the expense manager .py. So for the people who are not sure with what is this Visual Studio right here, what is this platform right here? Basically, this is a code editor where you basically write the codes and you can run the file, and you typically do a lot of type of coding or any kind of language. It could be Python, it could be JavaScript, it could be CSS, it could be any other thing. You can actually do it right here, and this is where you actually write the code and you get things sorted. You write you have your different files that will be stored right here in this end, and you have like a terminal that comes. So in the later stages, you'll be able to see all these things, but yeah, so you basically have this. You have a terminal and you have the code. So when I start writing the code, you'll be able to see that. So this is for the people who are not, who don't know what Visual Studio is. And if you've not installed it, I would highly recommend you guys to go install. So there is this easily you can search Visual Studio. You can download it for Windows or for Mac. You can go get this thing done. For Python, yeah, this is one more thing. I would also recommend you guys to go and install Python. Just search Python, you'll get it, or you can just go right here and click on downloads. You can download the latest version. You can download the latest one, or you can download like 3.10 or 3.11 or even 3.12. These Python is also compatible for whatever coding we're doing and for the whatever coding we do. So once you're done with this, so you can start your Visual Studio. You can have Visual Studio set up, completely set up. One more thing that you need to do is you need to come to your extension and you need to search for Python right here and install this. So once you are completely installed with the 3.10 or 3.11 or 3.12 or even 3.14, whichever is convenient for you, you come here and install Python right here too. So you can see it's already installed. So once you're done with all of these things, we'll start writing the code. So let's start with the first file itself, that is the expense manager.py. So you need to open like a folder. I've created a folder right here. So I'll simply click on creating a file. So I will put this name as expense underscore manager .py. Yeah, so I have my file ready. This is what I said. So here is where you write all the line of code right here, and once that is done, you basically click on run right here. And if you are to ask me what a terminal is, this is how a terminal looks like. So you have a lot of, you can write the terminal right here. So one more thing that I forgot to mention, I would want you to create a environment. So to create an environment, nothing but you need to create a Python file first of all. Once you're done with the Python file, just click on this. You'll be able to create the environment. Click on create a new environment and you'll be able to create it. Don't this is because I've already done it, so showing me it's recommended. But for a new user, you have to create your environment. So just click on it and you'll be able to create an environment. So what is environment? Environment is nothing but where you are typically, you are trying to install any kind of packages that you have. So for this expense manager.py, I don't think so we're going to have any kind of packages that we need to install. But in the next parts that we're going to have two three files files that our library, you can call it as libraries that you need to install. So typically this is how it will look like. And yeah, pretty much once you're done with this, the next thing that you have to do is obviously just put the library name like pip install. You will be seeing it in the next video, because probably that we have to install library called as Anthropic. So that will basically pretty much tell you how we're going to set up the API calls and all those things. Now talking about what are we going to do now. So we're going to start writing the code. One thing I want you to make sure is I'll be writing the code. So I'll be speeding up the
coding process, you can just pause and you can write the whole code. But in between, I'm going to explain what each code is all about. So you'll be able to see that. But because the video length is going to go a little more bigger, I don't want to make you guys watch a whole long video. That is why I'm just speeding up the coding process, so you guys can just follow along with me, and that's pretty much good itself. So yeah. Okay, so see, now we're going to have something called as a category icon, which we will be writing it here now. Because since this is going to have like a mixture of text as well as emojis, I'll be giving you the the code of it right below, or you can even call it as the text that is required for this. You can just copy that and paste it right here. So I've already have it set up right here. I'm just going to copy it from here. So this is the file that you're going to have it in the below, or you can just, I'll have it right there in the description. You guys can just copy it right there. So copy this and come back to the manage expense manager.py. I think I can remove this for now. Yeah. So we paste this right here. Now, why I making you guys copy this, because this having certain emojis. So this is how this works is basically for your UI. So it's really going to help you in that particular manner. So that is why this whole thing just works properly well. So that's why I'm telling you guys to just copy it from there, and pretty much there, you guys can just follow along with that. Now, if you had to ask me what we have done till now, like in total. So see, okay, you need to understand that first thing we do is we bring the two Python libraries. Okay, that is the CSV for reading CSV files, and OS for checking if the file path is typically there or not, which exists or not in the user machine. So there's no pip install required for this. As I said, these are just are there in your system itself, so you guys can just do it right there. You can just put it right there and it will pretty much work. Then we define our categories. So if you see, we have defined our categories right now. So so I want you to notice something right here. So these are logged in forever. If you see that, the user can add their own custom one. If you can see right here, so we have other. So the user can do it by themselves, and it'll come into their own custom category which they would want, based on whatever they are thinking of. And then we have the icon dictionary right here. So pretty much like it's interconnected. These two are very interconnected with the whole, and that's why I said why I want you guys to copy this is because in the overall GUI interface, these things will come out to look really good. So that is why this part is necessary for you guys to copy it and put it right here. And pretty much this is how much the entire line of code is. So let's do the next part of code. Okay, so now we have written these many lines of codes. And by the way, if you guys are thinking, what is that? Before I write the code, I'm able to get the suggestions. So it's basically an extension called as Tab 9. So here it is. So you can see it right here in the extension part. So Tab 9 is basically an extension that helps you basically read your code, what you're trying to write, and it will basically give you the suggestions. So that's why you're able to see whatever I'm writing the code. It's already suggesting me what I'm writing next. But yeah, coming back to the video now, what have we done till now? So see, we create a expense manager class right here. So think of this class as a container. Okay, it holds all the user expenses for the session and provides all the methods to work with them. And we have an init right here, if you see. So this method sets up two empty lists. What is one is a self expense, which is every single expense. The object will go inside this, and one more is called as the self custom. So if you see in the self custom, basically it combines both the list and returns the full list in total. So this is what is like the drop down and the GUI that we have, which will be called, and which will have the the populated, or the one which is having a lot of categories that you can select from. One more thing that I'd like to mention is we have the the custom category, right? This is important because see, adding a new category, we do check is the name empty. So if there is like that, like we have error that rises, and does it already exist also, that thing also is like something that we can actually work upon. And if you see that, otherwise, it will just try to verify it. And how does it verify it? Basically, it just lowers down the entire thing. So we have the dot lower, and the input, basically, for example, if I have to give, so we have put travel. Okay, so one can be like, travel, where there's the entire t is like, the letter t is small. Another will be the travel, the t will be capital. And there might be, travel with both the spaces in the front and the back. So it'll basically do those sorting and stuff, and by itself it'll add by itself. And the next thing we have is basically the get category icon. So basically this is going to, get the custom icons or whatever icons that we're thinking of. It will typically fetch those information right from there, and it will just provide it straight away to the, entire thing that we have worked upon. So let's write the next set of code. Okay, so see now, there are two big methods right here, and we need to understand it very carefully in terms of what we are trying to achieve in this. So see, first of all, we need to understand that it takes a category, an amount, and optional description, right? It normalizes the categories first, and basically, the if you think about it, we have the strip right here, and then we have the white space making it lower column, and the category doesn't match over the list. It falls back to the other, rather than, completely crashing. We make sure that it is properly working. And then it tries to convert the amount to a float. So if you see right here, we have tried to do the float, and one more right here. So it tries to convert it to a float value. And once that is done, once the float value is converted, then the if the user types the letter instead of the number, like, the try exception catches it and raises it and cleans the error message right there for the GUI. And if you see right here, if the expense list with four keys, that is your category, amount, description, and the icon, right? So we have that. And the next thing that we talk about is the other chat input. Now this is the interesting one, because this is what makes the chat style input work completely. Instead of the user selecting the drop down or typing it down, uh, they can just type out like spent 250 on something, or 1200 on something, or Uber for maybe $80 or something like that. So this basically considers that aspect also. And then whatever is left after the, the text right there, it removes that and just keeps the number value that is important. So we filter the word from, spent, on, for, paid, bought, are also cleaned out completely. And what else is left is a clean description, right? So this is one method, is what makes the user experience feel like, talking to the AI assistant rather than just filling out a boring form. So that is the interesting part. So let's continue with the next part of the code. Let's finish that also. All right. So, see, now we have completed this particular part of the code right here. There is, I see there's one place where we have to fix this error. So, okay, I'll give you one more suggestion right here. So the most people may not know what this suggestion is, but for the people who know really great. So you see in Visual Studio, there's this new feature that has been added, which we will rightly use it right now. So if you click on this feature right here, so you see the error message, right? So now I can actually change the error if I wanted to. Like if I thought of completely changing it, I can actually do it. But rather, I would like to show you what I can, what is the best way of if at all you try to if you're not able to figure it out. So if you click on this and if you click on this right here, that the fix error, it'll automatically fetch the entire problem from what is happening and what could be the possible solution that could help you figure it out, and it would literally tell you those options. So if you see right here, it has literally given me what the best way is. So I can actually click on this, keep the option right here, and you can see the error is completely fixed. So usually if there's any kind of like let me just show you you know another way. So if you see, usually there are two ways. One is to it will fix it right here, or else if you click on this, there's a new chat window that opens right here, right where this entire code thing that you can see right here, it tries to open a new chat and you can actually chat with it and fix it off. So right here I know that the error is basically the E not being here, so I will try to fix it right there. Now talking about the entire line of code that we have put right here, and that will basically tell us the entire thing that we have built till now, and what is that we need to actually look at. So see, the first thing is, first of all, the CSV loader. We check the first the file exists or not. It clearly gives us the error message or something. Then we open it in a Python CSV file direct dictionary. It reads it, which reads exactly like how each category plays a very important role for it, where it there's an amount that it basically fetches it from there. So we have the description column that is also very optional. If it's able to fetch it out from there, it can usually do it. Then for each row we keep kind of keep two paragraphs or something, and well, not paragraphs, I'll say it as phrases. And the row, how it acts with the missing key or the missing value, that also it has tried to complete do it in this entire code of whatever we have right till now. And see, one more thing right here is this completely works with the GUI, so you need to completely understand in that particular manner as well. Then we have the summary method in total, where we use the get summary thing right here. That is basically like a loop where if you see, and it has that amount where it, like for example, if you have the food which is like 450, then rent which is 1200, and it gets the total sum of it, which we use it right here, and everything is just kind of totaled up right there. Then we have the get percentage category also, which we have created right there, which completely does it. And then we have remove expenses, but by index, so that also it completely does it by itself. This is what the delete button in GUI calls actually, if you see in that, in the later stages when we build it. And clear all will also reset it completely, so that is completely how it works right here. And it simply safely checks before generating the complete report, if I had to say in total. And that's one file done right here. So everything, this file is a pure logic right here, whatever we have built. And there's no terminal for this required for now, and no GUI, that also is not required for now. We'll build it in the later stages, and Claude also will connect it in the later stages. So this is just like clean data handling. That is what I can completely say right here. So moving back to understanding it in a little better manner, let's do a quick recap so you guys will also understand. But before we go there, I would like to say whatever materials that I have used right here, and this material I will drop it in the description, so make sure you check it out. So going to the wrap right now. Okay, so let's do a quick recap, right? Well, in this particular video, we built the expense manager, right? So in this particular manager, we had like where we had to accept the expenses that we put it in the input section, and then it basically takes it in a, either we put it in a manual manner or by a natural language input. That also is something. Also, we provide them the CSV file, or the can put an Excel file also, whichever is good.
Basically, this validates everything and returns the clean structured data. That is basically important in the filtering of the entire input that we give as a user. And now this is ready to pass it to Claude. That is what we're trying to do. Now, if I had to talk about what are we going to do in the second video, as I said, we are going to have the finance narrator, obviously, which basically takes this data, pulls the data, and then it converts it into a very engineered prompt, which takes the Claude API, it calls it, it sends these information, data or information, and then it gathers the information back. So that's what we're going to build in the second part. So stay along for that particular part. And for the resources for this particular video, I will drop the link in the description. Make sure you check it out. So stay tuned for the next part. Until then, only one thing I have to say. That's it for this video. See you in the next one.